When I was a student, I spent a lot of my time at a Denny's in San Jose. I wasn't there just to eat, I was there to work. I was a dishwasher, a busboy, and a server. If you've ever worked in a restaurant like that, you know it's not just about the food. It's about the flow. It's about the intensity. It's about doing a job that most people consider lowly with a level of excellence that makes it an art form. I wanted to be the best dishwasher Denny's had ever seen. I wanted to be the most efficient busboy. I learned then that there is no such thing as a job that is beneath you. If you can't clean a table with pride, you will never build a company with integrity. It was at that very Denny's, at a booth in the back, where Chris, Curtis, and I decided to start NVIDIA. We didn't have a business plan that anyone believed in. We didn't have a market that actually existed. What we had was a shared belief that the way computers were being built was fundamentally limited, and we had the work ethic of three guys who weren't afraid to get their hands dirty. We chose 3D graphics not because it was easy, but because it was the hardest computational problem of the time. It was a problem that traditional CPUs, the kings of the computing world, were terrible at solving. We decided to go against the grain of the entire industry. We chose a path that everyone else thought was a niche, a toy, a distraction. And for a long time, the world seemed to be right. We struggled, we failed, we were 30 days from bankruptcy. But we stayed true to our first principles. We believed that if you could accelerate a specific type of math, parallel processing, you could change the way humans interact with technology. This brings us to CUDA. For nearly 20 years, CUDA has been the heartbeat of NVIDIA. It has been our beloved platform, the bridge between our hardware and the brilliance of the world's developers. People often ask me about the moat that CUDA created. They see it as a fortress. But today, I see the headlines. I see the pundits saying, NVIDIA is losing its beloved CUDA. They point to new open standards, to competitors building their own software stacks, to the idea that the world wants to move on from a proprietary ecosystem. And they ask me, Jensen, what will we do now? If the moat is breached, what is left? My answer is simple, but it requires you to understand the soul of this company. We are not a CUDA company. We are not even a GPU company. We are a company that solves the most impossible problems in the history of computing. If the world moves beyond CUDA as we know it today, we will be the ones leading that move. Why? Because we don't cling to the past. We don't protect legacies. We destroy them. We are the first ones to cannibalize our own success to reach the next peak. The loss of CUDA isn't a threat, it's an evolution. It's the moment where the platform becomes so foundational that it disappears into the fabric of the global AI factory. To understand what we will do now, you have to go back to first principles. Why does computing exist? It exists to reduce the cost of intelligence. For decades, we relied on Moore's law to do that work for us. We just waited for the transistors to get smaller. But the physics of the universe have stopped cooperating. Transistors aren't getting cheaper, and they aren't getting faster at the rate we need. The old way of doing things, writing serial code for a general-purpose processor, is reaching its logical dead end. This is the great transition. We are moving from a world of general-purpose computing to a world of accelerated computing. And in this new world, the software stack is just one part of the equation. What will we do now? We will build the computer of the future, and that computer is no longer a chip. The computer is the data center. When you think about the scale of the problems we are solving, climate modeling, drug discovery, physical AI, you realize that no single piece of software, not even CUDA, is the final answer. The answer is a full stack integration of silicon, systems, networking, and algorithms. We are building a factory that turns data into intelligence at a scale that was unthinkable even 3 years ago. If the industry wants to standardize the software layer, we say, please, let's do it. Because that only allows us to focus on the next impossible thing. It allows us to focus on the architecture of the data center itself. I want you to imagine the urgency of this moment. We're in the middle of a new industrial revolution. In the last one, we turned water and steam into mechanical power. In this one, we are turning data into tokens of intelligence. This is a $100 trillion transition. There is no time to walk. You must run. If you are a startup founder, if you are a developer, if you are a student, you have to realize that the ground is shifting beneath your feet every single day. The beloved tools of yesterday are the museum pieces of tomorrow. At NVIDIA, we operate with a sense of permanent crisis. I tell my team every morning, our company is 30 days from going out of business. I don't say it to scare them, I say it to ground them in reality. Because the moment you think you have won, the moment you think your beloved platform is safe, is the moment you begin your decline. We have a very flat structure at NVIDIA for this exact reason. I have 50 direct reports. I don't have a phalanx of vice presidents to filter the truth for me. I want to hear the raw data from the front lines. I want to know what the engineers are struggling with. I want to know why a specific simulation is failing. In a world of exponential change, hierarchy is a bottleneck. We need a neural network of human intelligence to match the neural networks we are building in silicon. We need to be able to pivot in an afternoon. If a new approach to AI emerges that makes our current stack obsolete, I want to be the one who discovers it. I want to be the one who implements it first. The work of your life should be to build things that did not exist before. That is the definition of innovation. If you are just refining what someone else has already done, you aren't an innovator, you are an optimizer. Optimization is important, but it doesn't change the world. At NVIDIA, we seek out the 0 to 1 problems. We seek out the things that people say are impossible. When we started working on deep learning 10 years ago, people thought we were crazy. They said, "Why are you putting all this energy into a niche area of academic research?" We did it because the first principles told us that neural networks were the only way to handle the massive complexity of data that was coming. We didn't wait for a market to exist. We built the platform, we suffered through the lean years, and we created the market. So, if you ask what happens after CUDA, I tell you, look at the Blackwell architecture, look at our networking, look at our software-defined digital twins. We are building a world where the distinction between software and hardware disappears. We are creating a system where the intelligence is baked into every electron that moves through the data center. We are introducing physics AI, where the computer doesn't just process text or images, but understands the laws of the physical world. We are building the foundations for robots that can learn to navigate a room just by watching, for factories that can optimize their own energy consumption, and for weather models that can predict a hurricane with the precision of a heartbeat. This requires a level of resilience that most people find uncomfortable. It requires a willingness to fail in public. I have failed many times. I have stood on stages and talked about products that didn't work. I have made bets that cost us billions of dollars, but I don't look back at those moments with regret. I look at them as the tuition we paid for our success. Character is not built by winning. It is built by the grit you show when you are losing. I wish you doses of pain and suffering because I want you to have that grit. I want you to be the kind of person who doesn't quit when the beloved tool you spent years mastering is suddenly replaced by something better. I want you to be the one who builds that something better. We are entering an era of general purpose intelligence. This is the iPhone moment for the entire global economy. Every industry is about to be re-instrumented. Every piece of software is going to be rewritten. The traditional way of programming, where a human writes a set of instructions for a machine, is being replaced by a world where the human provides the data and the objective, and the machine learns the solution. This is a profound shift. It means that the moat of the future isn't a specific language or a specific API. The moat is the ability to integrate the entire stack of technology to produce intelligence at the lowest possible cost and the highest possible speed. This is what we are doing now. We are moving beyond the era of the accelerator and into the era of the AI factory. We are building the infrastructure for a world where intelligence is as abundant and as accessible as electricity. If that means the world moves beyond the specific syntax of CUDA, we will be the ones handing out the new tools. We will be the ones building the new abstractions. We will be the ones making the impossible possible. The urgency of this transition cannot be overstated. We are seeing countries around the world realize that sovereign AI is the new national security. They realize that they cannot rely on others to provide the intelligence that runs their society. They need their own AI factories. They need their own data centers. They need to turn their own data, their own culture, and their own language into their own intelligence. We are helping them do that. We are providing the blueprint for the next century of human progress. And we are doing it with the same hunger we had at that booth in Denny's. I still feel like a dishwasher sometimes. I still look at a problem and I want to scrub it until it's perfect. I still feel the weight of the impossible challenges ahead of us, and I still believe that the only way to survive is to run. The moment you stop running, you are overtaken. The moment you stop questioning your own success, you are obsolete. So, what will we do now? We will do what we have always done. We will innovate. We will suffer. We will fail. And we will build the future. One transistor, one algorithm, and one impossible problem at a time. The loss of a beloved tool is not a tragedy. It is an invitation to greatness. It is a signal that the world is ready for the next thing. And at NVIDIA, we live for the next thing. We live for the moment when the old rules break and the new ones haven't been written yet. That is where we thrive. That is where we find the miracles that people say are impossible. We are building a computer that can see, hear, and understand. We are building a computer that can help us solve the energy crisis. We are building a computer that can help us cure diseases that have haunted us for millennia. This is the work of our lives. It is more important than any single platform or any single brand. It is about the advancement of the human spirit through the power of technology. And the advancement of the human spirit requires us to look beyond the syntax of a single software library. If you think CUDA is a destination, you've misunderstood the journey. CUDA was always a bridge. It was the bridge that allowed us to cross the chasm from traditional serial computing into the world of massive parallelism. But the destination isn't the bridge. The destination is the accelerated data center. Today, the unit of computing is no longer the chip. It is the entire data center acting as a single, giant, distributed processor. This is the era of the system. When people worry about losing CUDA, they are looking at the world through a rearview mirror. What we are building now is the NVIDIA Inference Microservice, or NIM. We are taking all the complexity, all the libraries, and all the optimization that we've spent 20 years perfecting, and we are containerizing it into a simple, industrial-grade building block of intelligence. You don't need to be a CUDA expert to use an NM. You just need to have an idea. This is the democratization of AI. We are making it so that every company, every developer, and every nation can build their own AI factory without needing to understand the underlying physics of the silicon. We are moving from the artisanal era of AI to the industrial era of AI. This is why we built Blackwell. Blackwell is not just a chip. It is the engine of this new industrial revolution. It is a system that integrates 208 billion transistors, a massive amount of high bandwidth memory, and a fifth generation NVLink that allows thousands of these processors to talk to each other as if they were a single heart. We had to rethink everything, from the cooling systems to the power delivery, to make this possible. We had to solve impossible engineering challenges in networking with Spectrum-X because traditional Ethernet wasn't designed for the explosive, unpredictable traffic of AI. We are building the nervous system of the global intelligence economy. I want you to think about what this means for the world. We are entering the era of physical AI. Up until now, AI has been a digital entity. It lives in our screens, it summarizes our emails, it generates our images. But the next wave of AI will have a body. It will understand the laws of physics. It will understand gravity, friction, and torque. We are building the foundation for a world where everything that moves will be autonomous. From the robotic arms in our factories to the humanoid robots that will eventually help us in our homes, physics AI is the more that the world is waiting for. At NVIDIA, we have been working on this for a decade with Omniverse. We realized early on that if we wanted to train a robot to work in the real world, we couldn't just program it. We had to let it learn. But you can't let $1 million robot learn by crashing into things in a real factory. You have to train it in a digital twin, a world that is physically accurate, where failure is free and learning is infinite. This is the sim-to-real revolution. We are creating a bridge where the intelligence of the digital world can seamlessly transition into the physical world. This is what we are doing with Project GR00T. We are building a foundational model for humanoid robots that will allow them to understand human language and emulate human movements by watching us. This is not science fiction. This is happening today. The reason we are able to do this while the rest of the world is still debating the loss of old software standards is our culture. I have 50 direct reports. I don't have one-on-ones. I don't have staff meetings where people present polished PowerPoint slides. I want the raw, unfiltered truth. If an engineer has a breakthrough, I want to hear it directly from them. If a project is failing, I want to know why so we can pivot in an instant. This flat structure allows us to move at the speed of light. It allows us to maintain the heart of a startup, even as we become one of the most valuable companies in the world. We are resilient because we are not afraid to be wrong. We are resilient because we embrace the pain and the suffering of innovation. The work of your life is to build things that did not exist before. That is a heavy responsibility, but it is also the greatest privilege a human being can have. We are living at a time where the cost of intelligence is collapsing. We are moving from a world of instruction-based computing to a world of intention-based computing. The barrier to entry is no longer your ability to write code. It is your ability to imagine a better future. If you are a founder, if you are a student, if you are an engineer, this is your moment. The old walls are falling down. The beloved tools of the past are making way for the superpowers of the future. We are applying this intelligence to the most critical problems facing our planet. We are building Earth 2, a digital twin of our entire world, to predict climate change with a level of resolution that was previously unthinkable. We are using AI to accelerate drug discovery, turning a process that used to take a decade and billions of dollars into something that can be simulated in months. We are helping energy companies optimize the grid to handle the transition to renewables. This is why we run. We don't run for the stock price. We don't run for the headlines. We run because these problems are urgent and we are the only ones with the architecture to solve them. When I look at the history of NVIDIA, I don't see a straight line of success. I see a series of near-death experiences that forced us to become better. I see the moments where we were 30 days from bankruptcy and had to find a way to survive. That survival instinct is what drives us to destroy our own success before someone else does. If CUDA is being surpassed, it's because we are building the thing that will surpass it. We are not protecting a legacy. We are building a future. I want you to think about the iPhone moment we are in, but imagine that the iPhone didn't just change your phone, it changed your car, your factory, your hospital, and your planet. That is the scale of the AI revolution. And at the heart of it all is the transition from traditional human-written software to AI-discovered intelligence. We are moving from bi-traditional programming to Hello Universal Intelligence. The journey is just beginning. We have 1,000 more impossible problems to solve. We have billions of people who have yet to benefit from the power of accelerated computing. We have an entire physical world that is waiting to be re-instrumented with AI, and we are going to do it with the same humility, the same grit, and the same first principles that we had 30 years ago at that Denny's in San Jose. The future is not a place we are going to. It is a place we are creating. It is built out of the scars of our failures and the vision of our dreams. It is built by those who are brave enough to let go of the beloved tools of the past to grasp the tools of the future. It is built by those who understand that in a world of exponential change, the only way to stay still is to run. I am incredibly proud of the team at NVIDIA. I am proud of the developers who have been with us for 2 decades, and I am excited for the new generation of innovators who are just starting out. You are the authors of the next chapter of human history. You are the ones who will take this fire we have captured and use it to light up the dark corners of the world. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for your passion, your brilliance, and your resilience. I am more excited today than I have ever been in my entire life. The best work of NVIDIA is still ahead of us. The best work of humanity is still ahead of us. Before I leave the stage, I want to ask you to join our community. If you are ready to be a part of this revolution, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. It helps us share this vision with more people around the globe. And I want to hear from you. What are the impossible problems you are trying to solve? What happens when your beloved tools change? Leave your questions and your thoughts in the comments below. I will be reading them personally and I will respond quickly. Because in this era, time is our most precious resource. The logical conclusion is simple. The era of the general purpose CPU is over. The era of the beloved isolated software library is over. We have entered the era of the AI factory, where the entire data center is the computer, and physics is the language of intelligence. You can either be a part of this revolution, or you can be a witness to it. There is no middle ground. Run, don't walk.